Hello. My final presentation is on the history of gaming. When I was growing up, gaming is all we did as kids. Whether I was going to my cousin's house in New Jersey or Brooklyn or going down the street to a friend's, I always carried my game system and the cartridges we had. Typically, we played games such as Tekken or Street Fighter because they allowed for quick competitions amongst us and allowed for more people to play in a short period of time. I have plenty of stories about the 39 years of gaming that I've done. But what I want to talk to you about today is the pioneering systems that started all of this and put us on a path to where people are waiting for the new systems such as PS5s and Xboxes. It all started with a company called Atari. Atari was started in 1972 by Ted Danby and Nolan Bushnell. They were both creators of the stand-up arcade games you might find at a bowling alley or at an event place like Dave and Buster's. But their true success came in 1975 when they launched the first in-home Pong system that you could connect to your TV. This console was so successful that many other companies tried to copy it. One of those clones was the Telstar that was created by Coleco in 1976. It included three games, however: tennis, which was Coleco's clone of Pong, and they also included hockey and handball. Now, in 1975, Atari started to develop a cartridge based system that was more flexible and allowed the users to play more games along with the four games that they had already developed. At the time, the system was called the Video Computing System, or as it would be later be known as the Atari 2600. The system included the console, two joysticks, a pair of paddles, and the video cartridge. Now, Atari knew that they had a hit on their hands, but they knew they were going to have difficulty bringing it to the market because the price point was extremely expensive at $199. Now, in 1975, $199 would be equivalent to $850 today. So Bushnell uh, searched for investors and was able to sell Atari to Warner Communications for an estimated $28 million. However, he was able to remain on as president and handled the launch of the 2600, which quickly became a major success, being that it was the only uh, gaming system that allowed the users to switch games through a actual cartridge. So Atari was able to dominate the market from 1976 until 1982, when Coleco was actually able to launch their console system. So in 1982, Coleco delivered by being the first to put a computer processor in a video game console. Although it increased the cost to 50% higher than its competition, it allowed Coleco to deliver arcade quality uh, video games. Now, Coleco also had some other features. It had an expansion slot that gave the users the ability to connect alternate controllers, such as a steering wheel and pedal for car games, as well as an expansion slot, as well as that expansion slot that allowed users the ability to play Atari games. Systems continued to experience much success before the crash of 1983. And what attributed to that success was the massive following they gained from the actual games that they had. Atari had games such as Asteroids, which was a space game that allowed you to destroy asteroids and flying saucers, and Frogger, which was a game that challenged its players to get a frog across a busy intersection. For Coleco, you had games such as Donkey Kong, where your goal was to help Mario save the princess from Donkey Kong the Ape. But on the flip side, you had Donkey Kong Jr., which was Donkey Kong's son helping him be freed from being entrapped by Mario. And then you have one of my favorites, Spy Hunter, which was a game that paid homage to the spy movies such as 007 from that era. As I reminisce about these games, you have to give them the credit that they deserve. Pong is the father of every two-player video game played on a single screen in existence. Whether it's FIFA or Street Fighter, Pong inspired many of the gaming greats that are around today. I mean, Nintendo's clone of Pong fueled the revitalization of the gaming industry in 1986. But you have companies like Konami, who's the maker of Metal Gear, that used to actually make jukeboxes at that time, but then they traded in jukeboxes for arcade games after they saw the success of Pong. And Namco, the company that creates Tekken, came from Atari's internal arcade division. And when you look at the success of Nintendo, as much credit as it receives, those hardcore gamers from that know anything about the history of gaming knows that the Nintendo system pales in comparison to what the impact that ColecoVision brought to the industry. In its brief 2-year lifespan, the ColecoVision broke expectation, sales records, as well as was on the way to becoming the most successful console in history had it not been for the gaming collapse in 1983. So when you look at both systems, both Atari and ColecoVision have so both Atari and ColecoVision systems contain traits that have stood the test of time. They've created frameworks that are still adhered to today. Now, me personally, I don't game anymore because of work and other responsibilities that I have. But just as the days of Atari and Coleco, so today we have the gaming enthusiasts that clamor to get their hands on the latest and greatest systems. We've gone from the days of 4-bit gaming systems to 4K gaming systems. From the days of blowing cartridges to get them to work correctly to the days of streaming them over the internet. From the days of having to share the same console and controllers and be physically connected to a console to wireless controllers and playing games with friends miles away and on the other side of the globe. So despite all the advancements we see today, we owe it all to the originators, Atari and Coleco.